Hi, everyone. Welcome to On Stage with Dorian, where we'll meet people who bring you live performance in Vermont and New Hampshire. Actors, singers, dancers, puppeteers, directors, designers, and more. I'm Dorian Chenois. Let's get started. My guest today is Andy Butterfield. Andy is an arts marketer and strategist. He plays a somewhat different role in live performance from most of the other people who have been on this show, and that's what he's going to tell us about today, because without the kind of work that Andy does, most live performance would never come to your attention. Welcome, Andy.
Hi, thanks, Dorian. Thanks for having me on.
A pleasure. Okay, now I have lots of questions about your work, but first, maybe you could give us an overview of what you do as a marketing strategist.
Yeah, sure. So I will start with just that my background is in English literature, and then I trained at a professional actor training program, so I have a passion for the arts as it is. And I come from a family of artists and musicians, and so it's been ingrained in me my entire life. So I'm very passionate about this industry and this field. As an arts marketer and strategist, I work with various arts organizations to really oversee the audience experience from first touch until their post-show survey after they leave the theater on any given night. My personal curiosities and my professional curiosities are really around data analysis and artificial intelligence. So right now, for instance, I've built a tool, a custom GPT tool that helps me take the data from my customer resource and ticketing platform, and I bring that into ChatGPT, and it analyzes my data for me and helps me make directional decisions for arts organizations.
What do you learn from the ticket information?
We look at there are a few primary categories that really make a difference in how how an organization strategically approaches selling their earned revenue, as well as the full audience experience. So one of the key categories that we look at is, or one of the key things that we're trying to do is deepen loyalty. So a potential person wants to come see a show. They learn about the theater through some sort of marketing, a print ad or a digital ad or something. Once we get them in and they become that single ticket buyer, we try to convert them into becoming a multi-show ticket buyer, into becoming a subscriber, into becoming a donor, into becoming a lifetime giver. And we call this the patron loyalty continuum. And then along the patron loyalty continuum, there are a variety of best practices and strategies that we can apply based on the data that we're getting, and then we serve those people in each of those steps unique messaging based on where they are in their patron journey.
So not everybody who gets email from the Playhouse gets the same email, is that?
That's correct. So yeah. So you say you mentioned the Playhouse. So I do. I work full time right now for Weston Theater Company in Weston, Vermont. But I also consult with a variety of arts organizations and other theaters across the region, and that's right. And sometimes that will come up. Well, I didn't get that email. Well, it's because it wasn't intended for you to see. So this is a way that we can nurture our most loyal audience members, while also and not wasting their time with information that they don't care about, and the potential customers that we're trying to reach, they don't need the same kind of deep behind the scenes nurturing messaging that someone who's been coming to an organization for a long time would receive.
Now, in one of my emails to you, I mistakenly called you a press agent.
Yes.
Okay. You have given some wonderful insight into how much more you are than a press agent, and yet you are not a press agent. Could you talk a little bit about what that is?
Yeah. So part of my role at Weston Theater Company is liaising with the press, and it's we rely. It's an interesting relationship, right? We rely on press to help. I call them quotables. And for instance, you, Dorian, always drop wonderful quotable lines that then I can take and transform into some sort of marketing asset. We hope that the reviews are good or that there are some quotables. Not all reviewers are created equal. So we're very grateful for those reviewers. But nonetheless, it's my job to build a strong relationship with them and keep them coming back to the theater as best I can. Yeah.
So, Andy has just outed me as somebody who also writes theater reviews, which I do. And so I'm on his list to get, when appropriate, press releases for shows that he thinks I would be interested in. And he's correct that I'm not interested, or at least not interested equivalently, in all of them. So we've got a good symbiosis there. Okay, so let's talk about how somebody becomes an arts marketer and strategist.
Yeah.
How did you come to this work, and what thoughts might you have for somebody else who might be interested in it?
Yeah. Well, I would say a couple of things. First, this industry, there are more so. I've lived all across the country, and no matter where I go, this industry has always proven to be accessible and inclusive, and there are opportunities for all skill sets, and then there's also opportunity for movement between skill sets in an industry like this, just from being on set or being backstage or front of house. You see the full scope. Front of house would be like where the audience, in the lobby before the show.
So when you say this industry, you're not talking about the arts marketing industry, you're talking about the theater
I'm
industry.
talking about the arts industry. Yeah,
the whole
performing arts industry.
Performing arts.
Across
okay.
the board.
So you don't do museums, for example.
I don't, but very similar strategies apply to any sort of event or ticketing venue. So a museum, I would be well equipped to oversee. Now, as I mentioned, I studied English literature in my undergrad, and then I took the LSATs to go to law school. And I, on a whim, auditioned for drama schools, and I got into, at the time, the number 3 drama school in the country, the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco, a prestigious institution. So I had to make a choice, and I chose to go play in San Francisco, which was a great life choice. I got so I trained as a professional actor. And that led to roles and shows. And eventually, I went to Los Angeles, where I worked a lot in production, typically in the art department. Did a couple of television jobs, did some theater down there.
Television
mostly
jobs as an actor.
As an actor, and as art department. However, I spent most of my time making questionable life decisions in Los Angeles. And so there came a point where I needed to pull the plug on my LA experience. And a girlfriend from college brought me to Vermont to work at a summer camp in the summer of 2000, many years before I went to LA. And when I needed to get out of LA, there was only one place I could imagine coming, which is nearly as far away from Los Angeles as you could possibly get. So I came to Vermont. And I didn't know professionally what I was going to do. Certainly not, at least at that point, think that I was going to be an artist or an actor in Vermont. The market is hard to support that sort of thing. And so I found myself working in the health and fitness industry, in sales, membership sales at a health club for several years, and then found myself transitioning into some health and wellness startups, and then healthcare IT, building skills along the way, all the while pulling in clients and helping them with digital marketing kind of things. Eventually, I had built up a skill set, a professional skill set that really, when in 2019, Susanna Geller, the executive artistic director at Weston Theater Company, posted for, this was her first year at Weston after 35 years being operated by three gentlemen. I was her first hire. And she brought me in. I had this real balance of a passion for the arts and 10 years of business acumen that I had developed through practice. And then, in the time since 2019, Susanna has really given me every opportunity to continue my professional development, conferences, online courses, and now I am a very good arts marketer and strategist. I speak at the conferences that I used to attend, and I love helping arts organizations. Now, you asked, how does someone get into this? There are programs. In fact, you taught at Texas Tech, I believe. There is at SMU. They have
Southern Methodist University in Dallas.
You.
Yep.
Yes, at Southern Methodist University, they have the country's preeminent arts marketing program. So, if I were a person who were interested in this, I would recommend investigating that program, and they are really developing the future arts marketers that are leading the major organizations in the country right now. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at some images of works that you have either appeared in or represented, or in at least one case, I think both.
Okay.
So maybe we can have the first one. There we go. Just you tell us about this.
Yeah. So this is from a play called Dancing Lessons at Vermont Stage. When I first moved to Vermont, I did so I live in Burlington, and or just outside Burlington, and Vermont Stage is Burlington's professional resident theater company. They do primarily contemporary work, and this is a play by a playwright named Mark St. Germain, this was a lovely piece, and that I'm very proud of, and I've done several shows at Vermont Stage, Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike and Dancing Lessons here. It's definitely one of my favorite.
So when you say did, you acted?
I acted, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's me there in the Star Trek t-shirt.
With your hair looking very different.
Very different, yes.
Okay, let's look at the next one. Whoops.
Okay, so this is, I'm not performing in this show. This show was at Weston Theater Company. This is Jersey Boys, which I think if you, unless you've been under a rock, I think that's pretty noticeable. This was a huge hit for Weston Theater Company. This is a show that, like at Weston, it's a summer theater primarily, right? We produce shows from June through October. And we balance new work development, which is part of our mission. Those are loss leaders, right? We know that they're not going to necessarily drive the revenue that's going to support the organization. So we try to balance that kind of mission-aligned work with a show like Jersey Boys or Mamma Mia or West Side Story, something that will fill the front end, I'm going to come back to, of the patron loyalty continuum. So fill the funnel with all these first-time single ticket buyers, introducing them to our organization. And then once I have them there, I can communicate to them specific messages and pull them down to become a multi-show ticket buyer, subscriber, and such. And Jersey Boys is a terrific show to do something like that with. So we always try to program something like this on the front end of our season to capture the most number of people possible, and then pull them along throughout the rest of the year.
Sounds great. Let's see some more. Oops.
We're going way back. So after drama school, this was my first professional job. Romeo in Romeo and Juliet. Now, I'm shirtless in this photo with lovely blue tights on. And I have been, for at least half of my professional performing career, I played characters who were always shirtless. Go figure. But I loved this. I loved this show. It was amazing. It was in San Rafael, outdoor amphitheater, and every night I got to leap up to the wrought iron balcony and do pull-ups for these kisses with Juliet, which is interesting because Shakespeare, you probably know this, as an academic. However, Shakespeare never says that Romeo and Juliet kiss. In fact, the balcony is a device to keep them apart, because isn't it far sexier when they can't quite get there?
No, it's far sexier when the guy without the shirt can do those pull-ups, and so he's sculpted. Okay, let's move on.
All right, so this is a show called The Metromaniacs, which I did at Middlebury Acting Company. It was a comedy in verse, rhyming end verse, and it was an adaptation of a French play. And I played a poet named Dummy. My clothes stayed on in this show. But interestingly here, we are dueling. And while these are pistols, one of the other things that I do in Vermont and New Hampshire is stage combat choreography. So I'm a certified actor combatant in unarmed, broadsword, rapier dagger, quarterstaff, and I recently just choreographed a show for the University of Vermont, St. Michael's College. I did 12th night for them. So it's a passion of mine. I think that acting is an athletic event, and all of my performance work relied on a very strong physical life.
Tell us what this company in Middlebury is.
Sure. Middlebury Acting Company is a small company that is the resident theater at the Town Hall Theater, which just did a $13 million upgrade to their facilities. It's quite beautiful. And it's led by a woman who 10 years prior to me at the American Conservatory Theater, she went through the same program that I did and ended up marrying a man who's a professor at Middlebury College and started this company in Middlebury. So they employ typically northern Vermont and New York-based talent, and I've always had a good time working at Middlebury Acting Company.
Great. I am not doing well with this. There we go.
Oh, lovely. So this image is from a play called The Porch on Windy Hill. I was talking to you a little bit about new work development. And this is a piece that Weston has nurtured as new work, and it features there on the banjo David Lutkin. Now, David is an incredible
Am I not looking at two banjos? Which
I'm
one is
sorry.
he?
The gentleman in the back.
In
the blue shirt.
Blue shirt.
Denim pants.
Yeah, got it.
Yep. And I like this. I like this image because, I like David because he at Weston, he portrayed Woody Guthrie when we did the Woody Guthrie musical several years ago. What He Says. And David continues to work with the same artists that he worked with on What He Says. Music director, the show's director, several of the musicians, and they toured What He Says for years around the country, using that same creative team, developed The Porch on Windy Hill. And then there's another one that he... it's eluding me now. There's a third piece that David and that same team... Almost Heaven, the John Denver musical.
Okay.
He doesn't play the John Denver character in that, but that same team has produced a John Denver that now they're shopping all around as a team to regional theaters similar to Weston.
So one of my former students was his understudy in the national tour of What He Says.
You're kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Wow.
So this is a shout out to you, Brad Frenette.
Yeah, Brad Frenette.
Okay.
And thank you, David Lookin. He's a great mentor.
Good. Okay.
Oh.
Did this guy need mentoring?
No, this guy, this is Pastor Paul in The Christians. This is a show I also did at Middlebury Acting Company. And what you don't see in this photo was that really is the star of the show, is a full gospel choir.
Oh.
And so I had musical stylings backing me up here. But it's really about a man questioning faith in front of his congregation for the first time.
Which I think the best pastors are very willing to do. One of my favorite rabbis stood up in front of the congregation one year in Rosh Hashanah, and she said, "It's okay if you don't believe in God. You should, be here anyway and think your thoughts and go over these texts." And I thought, this is a good environment in which to question.
Yeah, that's
okay,
right.
One more. Let's see.
All right.
Whoop. What am I doing wrong? There we go.
So this is Walker Farm. This is the theater that, one of two venues that Weston Theater Company operates out of. This theater was built, it had its first live performance at the end of 2017 and its first used for its first theatrical season in 2018. It's also a community center, and there are different events that run throughout through the Weston community out of that building. But here's the story: is in the summer of 2023, the severe rains poured enough water into the West River, which is immediately adjacent to the Playhouse, our 306-seat venue. This is a 140-seat venue. And we had 800,000 gallons of water in the Playhouse. It filled the basement and came up into the fifth row of the actual Playhouse venue. So we are still not back in that building and don't anticipate being back in that building for some time. So the organization has changed its operating model to run just out of this theater, investing in new seating arrangement to increase capacity 35%. So now we can seat around 165 people in there. Times are hard for arts organizations across the country. Weston is fortunate to, have been around for nearly 100 years, and so it has an enduring quality, but it requires real creativity in business model as well as space. Like, how do you maximize this space? And so it's taken all kinds of creative problem solving to really get the most out of this venue. But it's a beautiful venue, and And we love operating out of that.
So, speaking of taking a lot of people to come up with creative solutions, I have one more image, and I
Oh.
hope you'll talk to us about this.
Ah, hey, look at me.
Well,
There I
not
am over
only
there.
you, but look, what's with all those other people?
Yeah.
What does it take to, who
Yeah.
are they?
Yeah. So, I mean, you just said it. What does it take? So, Weston Theater Company has a full-time staff of 9. And we blossom in the summer to, this is just the technicians. I see a few artists in there, but we blossom to over 85 people in the summers.
So if you were going to have a staff meeting, a whole group
Yeah.
meeting, you'd pretty much need the whole venue.
We do, and occasionally we have that sort of meeting, and we do bi-weekly coffee chats on the green here next to the theater, and it's a more casual setting than being in the venue itself. But yes, it takes many people, many skill sets. These people are from all over the country, and they keep coming back to Weston. We do a great job of creating an environment that people want to return to, of creating value for our employees while they are with us, and it shows. Our there's 8 or 9 departments give or take each year. And this past year, we returned 100% of our department heads. Usually we're over about 70%, but like everybody came back. And just that institutional knowledge carrying over year is super valuable when you are, considering the systems and intricacies that it takes to produce the theater that we do. Yeah.
Great. Okay, well, I don't have any more pictures.
Great.
So we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much, Andy, for coming in and sharing your knowledge, your passion, yourself, and I'm going to extract a promise from you
Okay.
that you'll come back.
I will. Thank you, Dory.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Okay.